We're up to Beis Gimel. Try and move through this a little bit. We started Beis Gimel, but we'll start again. So basically he's saying that Yetzias Mitzrayim began the Gil of Shem Havaya. And that breaks all limits. Till then, overall, was the Gil of Shin, Shem, Daled Yud, in its two Pirushim, two stages. The stage of creation and the stage that Avram was Megala. But all that is generally Memalek Alalmin, and the Chidush of Yetzias Mitzrayim is Achana for Matan Torah, is the Gilui of Shem Havaya. Now, Obira Inyan, the Hinde, Mitzadin, Agbol, Tzimtzum, Mitzor, Mgvulim. So because of the Tzimtzum, which creates limits, Nasis, Yishabas, and Ivraim, Boifen, Shal, Helen, Vehester, it creates creation in a way where the divine force is concealed. Even though every creation has a source, because Lochem, it's far removed from its source. Because of the Tzimtzum. Not mamash a moshel, but like a moshel, as we said, a moshel is really something else entirely. You have an idea and you invest it in a story, but the story is really not the idea at all. Here, as it goes on to say, is ishtalshal, it's one thing devolves from the other, but it's so distant. What devolves from the levels of, from the source is so distant that it's like a moshel, which means very far removed. The way what results is like a moshel compared to its source in the spiritual realm. Looking at light. Hashem said to be light, and he separated between light and darkness. He's invoking the whole pasuk because he's going to speak about Ein Cheshech. So he called the light day and darkness night. He doesn't say Kamoy actually. He says Moshel, the Inyan of Oid v'cheshech l'mayla. It's only a moshel for light and darkness above. And I told you that later, subsequently, I don't know if it's saying something else or not, but it appears so that later that I've explained that is Kamoy moshel because it does devolve. The properties of Oid l'mata are reflection. Not like, again, a moshel is something else entirely. At the end of the day, you have to extract the idea from the moshel and you discard the moshel. The moshel is not negay anymore. It's not quite the same thing here. First he says kamoy moshel, and even ergashmi, I'm telling you, its properties reflect oir ruchni. And how he talks about Ein Cheshech in the nefesh, there certainly it's kamoy moshel, because we're talking altogether ruchnis. You hear what I'm saying? It's called oir. So within the human psyche, the opposite of light is darkness. The fool walks in darkness. So the worlds apart, even in the nefesh. There's also dark within seichel. Shahad Rasog is not able to understand. He's in, as we say, in the dark. Either mitzad koitzer amasik, he's not able to grasp. The grasper is narrow. Or mitzad musig, or because the idea is so deep. What we're saying is shagam kasher had Rasog mitzad. Even the lack of grasp, understanding. So become Muslim because the idea is very deep. He wants to bring it like this. And all of these mishalim we're bringing out, they're far removed, but they are still connected. In Seder Ishtal Shalus, it's Kamoy Moshel, and one level, this is the general outline of what's coming. The source is far removed in a different world from that which it produces as a result of the tzimtzum, but at the end of the day, it's still in the same geder of Ma'ala Kalam, and the Chiddush of Yetzias Mitzrayim is something that is radical beyond all of this. As we'll say at the end, in this Dalit. So let's go through as he traces and explains the way it works in Ishtalshalus. He wants to bring out this, good, let's be clear, notwithstanding the disparity between the Shoresh and the Ilah and the Olol, it's still Be'erech. Clear? Now with that in mind, you'll understand what's coming. So the idea, he's in darkness, he can't grasp it. It's above him, but it's still shaykh to him. It's dark for him. For him, it's another world that no shaykh is to him. It's dark, so he has some connection, just can't grasp it. But there is a yeshling, the same thing, even though Eir and Cheshech are far apart, Cheshech is. He started saying that, how did this whole thing begin? That Eir Gashmi and Cheshech Gashmi is like a mosh of Eir Ruchni and Eir Ruchni. And he's saying even in the Ruchni there's disparity. There's difference. So there's Eir, Cheshech, Beil, Maruch, Nisha, Eir, in Agili, Cheshech, Heder Agili, Eir is revelation, Cheshech is lack of revelation, because the subsequent creation at that level cannot receive the Gilui. It's not just relative to him, but it's relative to Eilam as Bachlal. But that still means a Shaykh is to Eilam. In other words, Soiviv. But still, Soiviv is 2 levels in Soiviv, but the low level of Soiviv that is described by Soiviv Kalalmin, which means it's related to creation. Despite he used the word Mufla, it's relatively wondrous and above, and beyond the grass, beyond the limit of the Makabel, but still, he's saying it's all relative. It's infinite, but relatively only relatively beyond, not objectively. That's why for the Nivra, this lofty level is called Cheshech, because he cannot grasp and it's beyond him. But still, at the end of the day, the fact that we're calling it Cheshech, which is his own language. He's giving it language. He's in the dark. I don't get this. So he's talking about it. So he has a shaykhs. So it's understood the great difference between, the great divide between Eir in this world, not just Eir and Cheshech, now within Eir itself. Even by Marisha, compared to the light, which is quasi-physical, that was created on the first day, that was put aside and separated for the tzaddikim lased lavai, how different the current Eir is to the Eir that began creation. And that's Gashmius, quasi. But more so is the great divide between Eir Gashmi and Eir Ruchni, but it still has the same word, and it's still better. Now, in greater detail, this to illustrate the inyan of what, of notwithstanding the great disparity between the Shoresh, Eilav Olol, the Shoresh, and the resulted creation, it's still all within the Geder Mamala Kalalmin, and the great Chiddush, therefore, we'll appreciate of Yetzias Mitzrayim and Matan Torah. So continue. So the creation of light in more detail, because he's talking about light here. Let's understand. He spoke about light, Gashmi compared to light, Ruchni. Then he spoke about within Ruchnis itself. In Ruchnis itself, there's levels which are called Cheshech, relative to the recipient. And then he spoke about, back to Gashmi, is the Eir that was created the outside of creation, Ben Erech to the Eir that we have currently. So now more detail. In physical light down here comes as a result of first Eir, the way it is by Torah and Yidden. the avoid of Yidden in Torah, Yidden learning Torah. I think it's what he means by that brackets, I'm not sure. As Rashi says, brings out pasuk Bereshis Bara shekolas abriya b'shvil Yisrael shnikra reishis b'shvil haTorah shnikras reishis beis reishis. So creation is all in order for Yidden and Torah, both called reishis. Rashi brings the psukim there from the Medrash. So it's understood therefore the whole world was created for Yidden and Torah. I think that's what he means again. B'avidosim shel Yisrael, the Yidden should learn Torah. Not two separate things. So therefore it's understood that justifies creation. That's why creation. So therefore everything that exists in the world must exist first in Torah. But they should look into Torah. It says the Zohar created the world. And likewise, it must have a parallel in Avodah, because the whole point of Torah is a Yid should learn it and serve God through Torah. To explain. So with respect to Moshe Rabbeinu was on Har Sinai. When did he know it was day and when did he know it was night? When they haven't taught him Teresh it was day. When he taught him Teresh it was night. I know we see that there is enough day and night in Torah. Sheyesh inyan yom v'layla b'Torah. Shezeu inyan Teresh b'ksav and Teresh b'al peh. And the obvious connection is Teresh b'ksav is God's revelation. Teresh b'al peh is the way we're developing it. So that's relatively chayshach. In Teresh b'al peh guf shezeu gam masham razal chazal pasuk machashakim b'shivani. So pasuk in Eichai, place me in darkness, says the Gemara is a Talmud Bavli. That's Talmud Bavli. And Talmud Bavli, Talmud Bavli is called darkness compared to Talmud Yerushalmi. She'inyan Laila, that's night. Ba'achem is a nishtal shagam cheshach hagolos, Bovel Golos. From this is nishtal shel, the darkness of Golos, that it's all rooted in Torah. Furthermore, Hachodesh, when how did he know it was night? So when they said Kodesh, the Malachim, Shoyoim, he knew it was day. Baruch, why? How did this convey night and day? Baruch has in Baruch Kadashim Koimai. So he goes and explains, what's the difference between the praise of the Malachim of Kodesh and the praise of the Malachim of Baruch is the difference between the Srafim, the Ifanim. Shasrafim Shoimrim Kodesh. Why do they say Kodesh? Because that's Giloi Shemasigim Haflo Asa Ein Sof, because they understand the wondrousness of the Ein Sof. And they understand Shu Kodesh and Muvdom Eilam is how he's beyond and separate and beyond Eilam is. And so when they were saying Kodesh, Moishe Rabbeinu knew the union of Eir. Yoin. Shezeu inyan yoin, that's the union of day, revelation. Achayfan, Mishemrim Baruch, they say Baruch Mim Koimai, they don't give an address. Heim Barash Godel, with a great tumult. Sharash Meheder Hasag. What's the tumult? The opposite of Seichel, which is settled, because they don't understand. Sheyoidim, what they do get something, they're saying praise. Sheyoidim Sheshdova Shalamayla Masagosam. This they know, that this is utterly beyond Sheina Musaglan that cannot be grasped. And that's the tumult. Behind the Shafal Pishan Yeina Musaglahem, Kofnum Gimel, what page number you have. But all to bring out, it's taka beyond. What does he want to bring out? Finish the sentence. After began what?
They know something.
Right. This is going to be the whole Hachodesh of Yetzias Mitzrayim. There was tremendous avodah going on before, and relatively speaking, haflah and oir and cheshach. It's all the end of the day together, all within the category of creation and related to creation. Creation of its loftiest levels. The Gewalt is because they know that there's something beyond them. And that's called choshech. So choshech and laila are worlds apart, but be'erech. There is erech means relatively connected, relatively speaking. Likewise in avodah, which is why we say this. Why we quote them every day. What's the point of it? That a Yid, when he says, then describes the avodah of the Srafim, Deifanim, should be the Yizbonen as Bavedis Srafim, Deifanim. We should think into and appreciate and understand what it is that they're saying. The truth that they are expressing by Midas Kodesh and Baruch. That by the Yid should also be the in Avedis Adam. In other words, he's saying, as I also explained in Chassidus, every day is Yitzias Mitzrayim. This is all the achana to Kriyashma, which culminates in Yitzias Mitzrayim, and then Shemon Esrei. That's just the Chagav, and it's the first Mugedike Maimed of his own Maimed that the Rebbe gave. Toshinun. So Rebbe gave with his own hand. He gave the Maimed of Chochem Ma'oim. It's a Meiledike Maimed. And the big question there is, he says, Ma'avad Hazeh Lochem. I mean, all the Mefarshim asked this question. We criticize the Rosh because he says, the Rosh says Lochem, the Eschem. Hashem Lakeinu Eschem Yosef, not Lochem, but Eschem, it's the same idea. Moedis Vachuk Mashpot Mashetziv Hashem Lakeinu. Yitaka says Lakeinu, so that's what the Mefarshim means. But still he says Eschem. What's the Eschem? How does he possibly say Eschem? So the whole end of the mind is a Meidei Kabir, but the Nekudis that the Chacham is holding every day by Yitzias Mitzrayim. So he's asking, Lifnei Yitzias Mitzrayim Eschem. The Chiddush of Yitzias Mitzrayim Matan Torah. A very deep mind explaining his Shaila in terms of the Avodah till then, and what's the Chiddush of Yitzias Mitzrayim that he wants to grasp anew every day. I'm saying this because this is why we're talking about the Avodah of the Srafim Deifanim. Hey, we're post Matan Torah. Yitzias Mitzrayim, they're Ba'akbola. Why are we even quoting them? Because we're Ba'akbola, and the Pnimi is subtly, there has to be the Avodah of Yitzias Mitzrayim daily. It begins in Avos Eilo. You chose us, and have Avaya Lakin, Avaya Chod, and then culminating Krishma with Yitzias Mitzrayim. Continuing in the mind of Zehu, so Eir V'Choshech is the Yizbonenes and Avedis Adam in the Avodah of the Srafim, the Yefanim and the Srafim, the Srafim and the Yefanim. Oh, yeah, we're following. Yes, so Meya Inyan, the Eir V'Choshech, Kvish B'Teira, Avedis Adam Yisrael, and from the way Eir V'Choshech is in Torah, which is Teresh B'Ksav and Teresh B'Al Peh, and even Teresh B'Al Peh itself is Talmud Bavli, Talmud Yerushalmi. So from that, Nishtalshul Gamayin the Eir V'Choshech Kvish Lamata. So that's the source of the way it then plays itself out in physical Eir V'Choshech, and in Golus he said all of its incarnations here Lamata. Continuing still in the Hasbara of Eir V'Choshech and so on, the way it is in Nishtalshulus. Further elaboration is that we see this in all of the creatures of the world. Now he's talking about the Elam Hazeh. Shem k'may Moshel b'lvad l'gabi shalshem l'mayla. They're merely the merest reflection of their source above, like a Moshel. K'may ha'arya shalamata, like the lion. Sheshorshim b'chinas p'nei arya sheb'merkava. The source of the lion Gashmi is the p'nei arya, the face of the lion and the merkava. And they're pretty far apart. The lion down here is an impure beast. The lion of the Merkava, of the divine chariot, is one of the creatures of the Merkava, that bear the Merkava, Baraj Godol, with a tremendous That's the Ifanim. The Yumas HaSrafim Shem Kodesh, corresponding to the Srafim, which say Kodesh, the Gewalt of the Merkava, of the Chais of the Merkava. The Chais and the Ifane HaKodesh, it's one general darge. So what is there? So the Arya, the lion down here, can make Moshe Bulvad, is like a Moshe, very far removed. The Be'emes at the end of the day, still Be'erech. That's the point. That's notwithstanding the great gulf. Now let's talk about the Pnei Arya in Taked the Malachim in Elam Abriya. They themselves, they're just like a moshel of Chesed Atzilus. And a Chesed Atzilus is a moshel gabi Chochmah Atzilus. Shnikra Gamkim Mishem Arya, Chochmah Atzilus is also called Arya, the Arya Oisis Re'iyah. The word Arya is the same letters of Re'iyah, and that's Chochmah, you see. The objective seeing truth. Shazel B'chinas Chochmah, Mishakoseh, Vayad Reishis Loi, in the bracha, in the bracha says Vayar Reishis Loi, with the context there, no, referring to the bracha to Reuven, I think. At any rate, the remes is that Reishis, which is Chachma, the first Svira, is the union of what? Yeah, and it is the union of what? What's the positive? Vayar. The union of Re'iyah, Arya Isis the ear. But Achil should be in Chachma Chesed, who, so we're saying, that Chesed, that Tzilus, is like a moshel of Chachma, that is only a moshel of a merest reflection of Chachma, that Tzilus.
Now a sphere is a marshal of the sphere of love.
What?
So we're saying a sphere is a marshal of the sphere.
Yeah. So there's a great disparity between Chachma and Chesed. But Achilik shebein Chachma leChesed, there Achilik shebein Atzilus leBriya, Atzilus Gufa. In Atzilus itself, Chachma and Chesed, it's analogous to the difference between Atzilus and Briya. It's relative. Atzilus shebatzilus and Briya shebatzilus. Chachma is Atzilus of Atzilus, and Chesed is Briya of Atzilus. Again, it all revolves around objectivity and subjectivity, and that's relative. It's relative. It's alt relative. The whole point being is that the great distance between them, between the objectivity of Chesed and the subjectivity of, the objectivity of Chachma and the subjectivity, the Metzius of Chesed. Pasha, the world of Seichel and the world of Midas are two separate worlds. It's only a moshel. But still, at the end of the day, it's all better. Chachma, they're not finished. Chachma is called Arya, Re'iyah, etc. But it's only a moshel, the merest reflection of that which is above it, which is what? Chesed is also called lion. Source. Arya Shog Mila Yira. The lion roars, who will not fear? Hashem Likim Diber Mila Yinav, God will speak, who will not prophesy, if he so desires. So what? So Chachma is only a moshel, as it were, for Kesed. So he wants to bring out, that's the point, we should have an appreciation here of the great distance between the Madreges, the source, and the result and the consequence, the ilah of the olul. And yet, despite the great distance, it's all what? Be'erech. Now the Chiddush of Matan Torah. Calls mitzad mitzarim ugvulim. This is all mitzad mitzarim ugvulim. Tzimtzum akbala tzimtzum creates this. It eclipses the source. It produces a result, and the source is completely removed from the result. That the resultant creation is a mere echo of the source. שמצד זה נעשה שיסבס למטה באיפה שאני ורק מושל, the tzimtzum, which is going to be imploded by Yetzias Mitzrayim, but the tzimtzum causes creation to be in such a way that the resulted creation is like a moshel. It's like a moshel, again, like an echo. Bilvad, the Gabi Shorsha, Bel Maruch, the way it all says, like Maruchni, we trace this within the Ruchnis itself. In Gashmias, Gashmi, the beginning of creation, and then the resultant, and all of them, right? All of the illustrations, which everybody has to repeat. But I've got to ask you, nobody has the answer to my question on Friday. You forgot the question. You have the answer? Shouldn't have asked. I spare myself disappointment. Remember the question at least.
I wasn't here Friday. Bad excuse, but.
So good, I'll ask you. You worry, I remember looking at you. Maybe I asked it on Thursday. I think you asked it on Thursday. Avraham Avinu, what did he do? He was in Shin, Shem, Shin, Dalajut, explained to the McGill student, what was he Megala over Shem, Shin, Shalajut, B'tfilas Abriya. My Mechazal, die, that's one, first dar again, Avraham Avinu should die by the Kusi Lechol Niver, but translate that. We explained the Pashat in this two sentence. He discovered quantum physics. Comes back now.
Now that we learned this, we understand relative. He
Yes.
he revealed not only that it's a concealment, but that the concealment that there's die leilomei.
Right. So it's good that you're saying the Oisius, so to understand it. So we explained it using explaining.
At the onset of creation, it was total concealment.
No, but
and,
Shem,
go ahead.
yeah, it's total, relatively speaking, but
total
Shem,
concealment, yeah.
But the Shem Shin Dalet Yud was accessible, meaning to say, you look at design, you see designer. I give another model. You want to, not quantum physics, but even simpler. 19th, 18th century science, 19th century science believed there were X amount of components that make up the world, or how many elements it is, and that's the end of the story. And the world is this gyrating clock. They see the integration, and it's different parts that are connecting and working in harmony, and that makes up the universe. The discovery of the atom was a big revolution. It's all one Nakud. So you could say that's Avram's discovery. An atom yields virtually endless energy. Virtually. Split the atom, look what happened. So this is the second darga, Shadai Belikusa Boilam. I was saying within physics itself, pre-quantum and post-quantum, it's the same moshel. What am I bringing up with this moshel? Gentlemen, I need your feedback. What am I trying to tell you with this?
Is that it's more than just a designer of parts of the world. Is that it's all even beyond that. It's one truth that is even beyond the fact that there's a design.
And the big yet is.
And yet it's all one thing.
And yet it's all mamala kalami. It's all bagabola. It's all dagabola velikus. That's the big yet. Shemavaya loyle daitila. The emes obliqueful God, we spent it in other words, we said. Creator, or God beyond creator. This is all God creator. It's like a wonders and all of the dargis. Yetzias Mitzrayim, what was the words of the Rambam that we used? Yeah. Motzei Rishon.
Yalla, Vadash.
Motzei Rishon is Eibish's creator. Im Yalla Radash Hu Ein Motzei. That's the darga we're speaking about was Nizgalva Matan Torah. The Rambam is negating only that to say that that's the Eibishter did not descend onto the plane of Motzei Rishon. Ein Dover Yochel Acher Yochel Yimotzei as a Nivra as we know it, which is the Kavon El Yoina. Okay, go further. Okay, we'll stop here. I think that we'll start Isdala tomorrow again. Yeah? Today's story.
You're not available tomorrow and
Oh, I'm
Wednesday.
not here, right? I forgot. I'm not here Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm traveling during this hour. So pick it up on Thursday. Right, so you got 2 days, Chevra.
Figure this out.
Hazeh, you come together, sit together, and each one, someone should say and Hazeh. What? That's asking to
get our act together.
Yeah, no, learn it over together, b'chabrusas, all together, sitting around the table. Someone says, how about doing that? You in? Guys, you're in? Yeah? Mordechai, Old Faithful, good. Ephraim?
One live and one on Zoom.
What's that?
Do 2 separate ones, one on live.
Everybody on Zoom, guys, on Zoom. Everybody, put your phones, everybody sit together. Like a good old yeshiva days, Midland, one guy will say, and listen and fight, argue, get excited. Huh? I can't hear. What?
Already excited.
Sounds good, yeah. Okay. And if you don't mind, just the first thing you're going to discuss is use your own ideas. What Avram contributed from Tchilas Habriya, the 2 meanings of Shin Dal Yud. But then understand that it's still a Mamala Kalam. It's all Shmiya violin and Daitilim. Okay. You got your homework and it's Lacharab. Okay.